Good morning, welcome to my YouTube channel. How you going today? Hopefully everything's all good for you and a nice cool chilly warm morning here up in Bundaberg. You can see I've got my Patagonia jacket on. Awesome little jacket this one. But we're going to talk about solar panel. You know how let me get comfortable here. So you know how I've got my lithium battery now. I thought this would be a good time to go over some of the solar panel options I've got. This here is a household solar panel from a local installer. He gave it to me for free and it came off a roof of a house. Whoever owned it wanted to upgrade to different panels or upgrade to a stronger capacity solar system. So it's a very good panel. As you can see, it's well looked after. I used to have this on top of my vehicle. When I had the Suzuki Vitara, this was sitting on the top of it. When I got the Pajero, I had this up on top there for a little while as well. That was until I got the rooftop tents. So once I got the rooftop tents, then I wasn't able to install this up there. It's your common household panel that you'll see. So this particular one is a Trina solar panel. So it's from China. It's made in China. They just about all are now. But there are some good ones from China and there are some crap ones from China. Trina, T-R-I-N-A, are one of the better ones. Now I was lucky because I was good mates with the guy who is very good mates, best friends with the installer. So through him I was managed to get this one. But he asked me a lot of questions because he wasn't just going to sell them or ditch them or give them off to anyone if they didn't know what you're doing. Because these are high voltage solar panels, guys. So you got to know what you're doing. 40, 44 volts, thereabouts. So the beauty with my system now, I can connect to it remotely, as you're aware. So at the moment, this one's putting in about 33, 32 volts in the system. And as of 9:35, it's generating 11.5 to 13 amps. So it's about 12 amps at the moment. If I do that, that's dropped it down to 4.6 amps. So that's just a shade off my hand, guys, and a little bit of my arm. So I move that away. Now that's gone up to 12 amps. So you can see the difference it makes when you cover part of the solar panels. And this particular one is really susceptible to that. I'll just cover my hand now. I've just got my hand as a footprint on there. And that's not too bad. That's around about 10 amps. So I'll take that away and that's jumped up immediately to 12 amps. So certain different types of solar panels is affected in different ways when it comes to the shade. This is a 200 watt solar panel. I got it from one of the installers, but he made sure I knew what I was doing and how to install these. And I was aware about the voltages, and particularly he made sure that I had a regulator that can handle this before he gave it to me. And once he was happy, he saw I knew what I was doing, then he was more than happy to give this to me. Now, in regards to the regulator, that's the thing. These household panels, or what we call high voltage panels, you need a regulator that can handle those high voltages. And in my opinion, no doubt whatsoever, the one to go for are your Smart Control Victrons. Yes, Victron Smart Controller MPPT. I'm using one that's got 100/50. So what that means is the 100 means it can handle up to 100 volts. I could connect two of these, and in fact that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to see if I can get another one the same as these, or the same specs as this one, and connect them together. Then it'll give me 400 watts. And this is the system I'm going to use at home to keep my lithium battery charged when I'm at home, parked at home in the garage. So I'll probably mount this up on the roof there eventually. This is not a new concept in any way, guys. I first found out about using these high voltage, particularly these household solar panels, especially on top of your vehicle, because this one weighs about 20 kilos, so it's 20 kilos and they're all around the ballpark that figure. But as you can see, if you're looking around, you can pick them up for next to nothing. I've seen them often advertised for sale for like $40, $50 each, and it's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with them. It's just that for some reason or another, they want to update to a newer, later technology or so on. And in fact, if you look into it, there's a new one out now, and I believe it's from LG. Don't quote me on that. I think it's an LG panel, and it's actually around 300 watts, and it is same weight as this, same voltage, so about the same size. It's about 300 watts, and I think they're less than $300. I should have did my research, but just check, guys. It might be $320 or something like that. So it's really good value, especially when you're comparing against your traditional 12-volt camping solar panels that we purchased. Because in hindsight, for $200-300, or in my case for free, this one here, you won't get anything that performs close to this. So this here is 200 watt. It's about 9:30. We're in the middle of winter, guys. This is the middle of winter, so it's the worst time to really be doing tests for solar panels, because at this time of the year, it's going to yield the least amount of power of any other time of the year, and yet we're pushing almost 200 watts out of this and 12 amps at 9:30 in the morning. So of course, as you're aware, your best yield time for solar panels is around midday, is when you'll get your best performance out of this. It's probably already up around the 95% charge, or maybe close to 100% charge already. And of course, being lithium, all those amps are just being flooded into the battery. So there's no absorption mode where it slows right down as you get with the AGM batteries, and then it goes to a high voltage and then just slowly trickles the charge in that last 10%, and it just takes forever just to get your battery topped up. With the lithium, you won't have that problem. It puts in the full amps. As much as you can feed it, it'll just drive right into that battery, right until it's 100% charged. So that's what it's doing now. So if I had this connected to my AGM, you'll probably be putting in a lot less amps at this stage. Well, not probably, it will be. It will be putting in a lot less amps at a higher voltage. But right now, being a lithium, it's just pumping those amps right in. So that last 10% is a lot quicker to charge, which is great when you're out and about the portable solar panels. So as you're aware, I've got a Safari high voltage portable solar blanket. Now I've showed you that in some of the videos in the past, although it's been a while since I've shown that, and it's been a while since I mentioned it, because to be frank, the videos that I did film on that never ever gained much interest. So I never spoke much about it. But let's just go over it quickly. I'll go grab it and show it to you now. I've got my high voltage Safari 250 watt solar panel in here. Now this thing puts out around about up to 65 volts. So it's very high voltage, but it's very efficient. And it's always, never fails. This is where I store it. So you can see how thin that is. Weighs 8 kilos. We won't spend too long on this because it's just a quick overview I want to show you. Eventually one day what I'll do is I'll get all my solar panels out. I've got 4 solar panels. So I've got a Kick-Ass 200 watt, this first solar panel that I started with. That's a 12 volt panel, awesome panel. And then I went for the household 200 watt household panel, and now I've got this one. So when I go camping, I always use this one. It always stays in my vehicle. And you can see here, it's got the connectors built into here. And this one's got a unique feature as well. As you see, it's got a security cable. So you can actually tie this up, securely tie this up to a tree or somewhere, and it will stop the honest thieves. So it won't 100% protect it while you're away, but it'll stop the honest thieves. So you can see it's got the built-in legs. Now, very good quality. You will pay for this. These aren't cheap, they are expensive. So they've got a Japanese panel on them, and they're very good quality, as I mentioned. So we'll just have a look at one of the panels. So it's held together by a Velcro strip on a couple of ends. And that's what they look like there, as you can see. So very good quality Japanese panel. And guys, this thing pumps the amps in, eh? This thing pumps the amps in. I've seen, it's a 250 watt solar blanket. very rarely you'll ever get a solar blanket that will perform at what it's rated at, but this thing here will. Now, it's an exception, okay? I spoke to the Safari rep for Queensland rep yesterday, and I told him about some of the figures and so on that I'm getting out of this, and he was quite pleasantly surprised. He says normally, particularly this time of the year, when I had this connected the other day, this was pushing 200 watts and about 13 amps into my system. And he told me for this time of the year, that's really, really good. He said his does not perform that well. So this one, I don't know what it is. I'm lucky I've got a real good one here. This one is performing to the specs, basically, of what's shown on paper. I've seen it put up to 250 watts during summer, as long as the panel doesn't get too hot. And that's another thing. During our summer, if you keep that panel cool, it'll put up to 250 watts, no problems. I've had times in summer where I've gone to unplug this when it's still in the sun, and I could not touch it. It almost burnt my fingers. That's how hot these can get, because remember, this is a 65 volt solar panel. So it's pretty much, it's like specialized gear really. But what I love about it, I'm a real advocate for high voltage panels. I will not purchase a 12 volt panel again. The last 12 volt panel I bought was the first solar panel I bought, and that's the 12 volt kick-ass solar panel that I've got here beside me. Now that's a brilliant panel. There's nothing wrong with it. But guys, since I got this, I've always used high voltage panels. So basically in the past, I don't know what it's, probably 3-4 years, I've used nothing but high voltage panels. And I think it's the way to go, and I think it's the future. So, but if you do DIY, you just have to be a little bit extra careful because they are high voltage. I've got its own little spot right here. Let's go show you my MPPT solar controller. Okay guys, I don't know if you can see that there. That is my Victron Energy Smart Solar Charge Controller MPPT 100/50. So as you can remember, the 100 means it's capable of handling up to 100 volts. So it easily handles those panels that I've got, no problems at all. And the 50 means that it'll put in up to 50 amps. Now you can get these in 120, you can get them in a 75/15 and so on. So you don't need to get the 150. But my advice, if you're doing this and you're going from scratch, spend the extra dollars and get this one, so future-proof yourself. Egon DC hub, that seems to fire a few people up. I don't know what the story is. Whenever I show that, all the 12 volt experts come out firing. There you go guys, there it is. And I tell you what, I am so happy with it. It's one of the best items I've purchased. My Egon DC hub. You would have noticed I did a few videos on that. And boy, did that fire up some of you so-called 12 volt experts. Not that I'm one. I'm not a 12 volt expert by any means, guys. But I am a computer tech, so I do know my way around electronics to a certain extent. Probably a bit more than the average folk out there. But when I put word out that I purchased one of these Egon's DC hub, oh boy, did woohoo! I get bombarded. But guys, like I said before, it's one of the best purchases, that upgrades that I have done for my 12 volt system. That thing has simplified the wiring setup, has simplified and that's it, simplified. Surprisingly, some of you out there would be surprised, but I like a simple system. Okay, now what I call a simple system, I mean, I've seen stuff that just blows my head away, such as Bruce from Safari. Some of the things he's coming up with is, oh man, Unbelievable. Just, I don't know. But I'm starting to kind of look into those type of systems, what he's doing and so on, and I'm simplifying it so it works fine for my setup. And that DC hub has gone a long way to that. Now, prior to installing that DC hub, I had cables and wires everywhere. When I did the installation for that DC hub, you should have seen all the wires and cables that I did away with, and all the joins that I did away with too. There's very minimal joins, and that's another thing when you're dealing with 12-volt systems. The more joints you got, the more potential failure points you got. And that eliminates, contrary to what a lot of people think, that eliminates it. So whether it's because it's bought out by Andrew St. Pierre White, and I know a lot of people seem to have a hatred towards Andrew. I think he's a brilliant guy. I think he's come up with a really good product here. I bet you this is going to show up some of the thumb down now, eh? all you so-called 12-volt experts there. Like I said, not that I am one, not at all. But I did a post one day. I was so excited after I installed that DC hub. I was so excited. So I did the video thinking the video is going to be awesome. It's going to be really popular. And unfortunately, it didn't get as popular as I thought it did. I filmed the whole, it's pretty much installed from day one. And I think I've got about 4 or 5 videos up. So if you haven't seen it, go back and have a look. It's not that long ago. I can't remember how long now. Time goes so quick. I could probably sit here and say 3-4 months ago and then go back and check my records, and it ends up being like 6, 7, 8, 9, even 1 year ago. Time just flies so quick. So go back and have a look. Actually, to be honest, I didn't even talk about the DC hub. It just so happened to have been in a photo when I was at something else. I went to a particular Facebook group to do with 12-volt systems. And guys, I'll never go there again. I'll never post on there again. And boy, did I get flamed. Man, did those guys flame me big time for going for a DC hub. It's crazy. I mean, sure, it's not going to suit most people. Actually, I think most people it will. But what it does is it simplifies everything. And it simplifies it that much that an average Joe Blow should be able to set up a 12-volt system. Sure, they're expensive, but then you go to an auto electrician and pay them the hourly fee. And not only that, if they don't do it properly, and to be honest, a lot of them don't do it properly, okay? There's a lot of shortcuts are taken, and if you want it done properly, you need to spend quite a few dollars on to get a specialist to install it properly. To make sure you got the crimps correctly done, make sure you got the wiring correctly routed, make sure you got the correct gauge of wiring. That's very important with 12 volt. You must make sure you got the correct gauge of wiring. Make sure the fuse is done properly. This thing simplifies that so much and eliminates a lot of the wiring. One day I'll do another video on it. Maybe I'll do a 6 month, maybe it's already been 6 months, I don't know. There's not a lot to say about it, guys, except it just works. Just works. And it's got some safety features in there as well. Once I had a fuse blown, when this was first installed, for some reason, it overpowered the fuse in there and it blew. It was shorting out one of the cables just on the corner there. So he fixed that up and I've never had a problem since and never had a fuse blown since. So there you go. Even though this has got its own fuse built in, this one didn't protect it as quick as what my DC hub did. My DC hub was quicker in stopping that causing any more damage than what the built-in fuse in that Bundu top is. So that gives you an idea of some of the quality and how quick and how safe that DC hub is. I won't talk any more about that. I don't want to flame the haters out there anymore. My opinion, I think it's a brilliant unit. I love it. So we might call it a that, eh? So look after yourself. If you've got any questions, I was going to say about anything you see here, probably, I don't know, I won't say too much more about the DC hub because as you mentioned, I don't want the haters out there to start attacking me like they did in the past. I'd say a lot of it's not to do with the device itself, a lot of it's to do with the person who's probably put it out. For some reason there's a lot of haters there, hates Andrew St Pierre White. I think he's a brilliant guy. I agree with mostly what he says. He's very knowledgeable and I think he's a legend in the YouTube world, if you ask my opinion. So guys, I'm going to keep it short now, I won't go too long. So this is today's video. You might notice there's quite a few videos popping up of late. So I figured this month I'm going to give this YouTube a real good crack. See if I can get that 1,000+ views a day, guys. I want to achieve a minimum, if I can, 1,000+ views per day this month. Now I'm down. As this moment, I checked last night and I'm at about 5,400 views for the past 7 days, for the first week of the month. So I'm down a bit. I was hoping I'd be at the 7,000 views. I want to try to crack it. It's always been a goal of mine. I once had a goal to reach 20,000 views and I reached that quite a number of months ago. But now, let's see, with the help of you guys, if you want to share my videos, get it out there and let's see if we can crack 30,000 views for the month. That's as long as there's, I don't know, is there 30 days this month? I'm not sure. Well, whatever it is, however many days there is this month, let's see if we can crack that 30,000. We're getting a bit behind here. After 1 week, we're behind. So, and also if you're watching this, please subscribe. It'll help my channel a lot, guys. The more you watch this, okay, the more you're going to watch these videos, the more interest there is, the more videos I'm going to put out. Let's see how we go this month, eh? Let's try to get that 30,000 views for the month. That'll be awesome if we do. Okay guys, I'm going to call it at that now. So till next time, look after yourself, be kind to everyone as always, and till next time, cheers.